Well, I could talk to you a little bit about a story from my life in Pakistan. Uh, some of you who know me know that from 1993 to about 1998, I lived in the northern portion of Pakistan, and my ultimate goal was to help establish an eye hospital there. Um, the focus of eye care in the northern part of that country was something that born out of need. There was no hospital north of Taxila, which is a city not far from Rawalpindi, which is considered northern Pakistan, but there's a whole region bordering China, adjacent to Kashmir, in between Afghanistan. It's very challenging mountainous area, which several hundred kilometers. There was no place for people who had serious eye diseases to receive care. And my focus prior to arriving to Pakistan was to get special education. I went to the Institute of Ophthalmology, Bath Street in London. That was associated with the famous eye hospital Moorfields. And it was a challenging course. My background had been in nursing. And my specialty, honestly, was in cardiac care. So it was a big jump. It's a long story. But today I just want to talk briefly about the immense power of small things. And speaking of eye care, oftentimes we talk about the dramatic impact of cataract surgery, moving from blindness to sight. And it is a dramatic and important intervention for the many, many who are walking this planet needlessly blind simply because of lack of access to care. But today I just want to talk about a story involving a very small gesture, a small intervention in the village, a specific village just north of Gilgit, where I lived for a number of years. And it was a village nestled in a valley known as Nagar. If you're at some point from that area of Pakistan, salam alaikum to you. And my first venture and visit to Nagar was in relationship to trying to help someone else establish a water and sewer project there related to a horrific turn of events that led to a cholera outbreak in that small village, a few hundred families. And I believe it was somewhere in the neighborhood of 70 people died in a very short time. Turned out an animal, I believe it was a cow, I can't remember exactly, but it somehow died and decomposed in a part of the area where the water source was, and a very, very serious turn of events. And so I accompanied my friend to that, to the Tehsildar, the headman of the village, and several others. And long story short, we'll tell some of the more of the story perhaps in further short videos. On the particular day when we finally got into that village to deliver care, it was quite dramatic. We had a desire to not just treat the men of the village, but the women. And the women were used to being a bit isolated in a system of purdah, which meant they'd never been outside, many of them, outside the walls of their homes. So we set up in the school and we announced over the mosque after building a relationship there with the leaders. And one by one, women trepidly and with great caution began to come. And I remember one woman in particular coming, and I examined her eyes with my assistant and my translator. And when I put a pair of glasses on her eyes for near vision, she was about mid-30s, which is when you begin to develop some issues of what's known as presbyopia. And she could see better, but she began to weep. And I was just kind of embarrassed. I was wondering what was going on. And basically, she took something out of a bag that she was carrying, and it was beautiful embroidery. And she spoke to me and she said this: "I have a hard life. And but the one thing that brings me joy is to use my hands to create things. And I'm crying because I have no money. And I'm standing on the edge of perhaps having more joy back into my life, but I know I can't afford these glasses." And I was just sort of stunned. And I said to her, "Ma'am," I said, "these glasses are virtually, they're so inexpensive. We certainly not going to charge you for these glasses. We're going to give them to you as a gift." And I paused in my mind, and something spoke inside of me. I believe it was the voice of God. And that was that it's not, as Mother Teresa herself has said, it's not the great things that we attempt to do. It's the small things done with great love that will ultimately transform this world. And I said to God, and silently in a brief prayer, I said, God, if I die tomorrow, having given this woman these pair of glasses that can bring joy back into her life, I'll be a happy man. So much of our society waits for those who are willing to do the small thing with great love. And we saw many other things. God willing, I'll be able to use this video blogging to communicate some of the stories of my life and others who have done small things with great love and seen dramatic changes happen. $2, perhaps less, brought joy back to a woman's life who otherwise was really in desperate straits in a very poor place and seen a lot of death, a lot of restriction on her life that was probably tough for her soul. But what might God be saying to you today to give out of your need, perhaps? Perhaps you don't want to go to that place where the door is actually opening for you. It might seem off the path of your desire, of your dream, but folks, you can't get lost when you're led by God. If you get lost, He'll always call you home. I want to challenge you. Take a risk today. Go somewhere you've never gone before. Talk to someone you've never talked before. Pray for someone that you're struggling with in a relationship. Give that $2 worth of love and change a life. I hope this inspires you today. Again, if you're listening in, no matter what part of the world, I say again, salam to my friends in Pakistan and my friends here in Mobile, and perhaps some of my friends that I've met somewhere else in the world today. God bless you. And give in faith. And let's see what God will do in this world. Okay, God bless. Have a great day.